got a sore throat from all the coughing and the asthma and the allergies, yada, yada, yada. So bear with me. 22-0 with 16 knockouts, Tyson Fury. Now, for some reason, Tyson Fury is not very loved over in his homeland. He's called a twat wanker something because he's always talking bollocks and shit. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm learning. But what I want to say is this. 6'9", between 240, 260 pounds, maybe even 270. He can move. He can punch, meaning as far as punching variety. We've seen him take some punches. We've seen him get knocked down and get back up, and we've seen him adjust. Now, what I'm saying is that he's a pretty good heavyweight. Now, as far as competition is concerned, credible competition was supposed to be David Haye. You know, that fight was supposed to happen twice, but David Haye pulled out twice, and it makes me think that, well, hey, you know, Tyson Fury does put a little bit of fear in some fighters. I'm not saying that David Haye is scared of him. I'm saying it just was, you know, I mean, it was some crazy, bizarre coincidences. Like, for example, like, why are you sparring the week before the biggest fight of your life? You know, stuff like that. So I asked myself, okay, well, where does Tyson Fury, how does he hold weight? Well, you have to always look at the fact that he's undefeated, and you have to look at the fact that he sells his fights, and also, finally, look at the fact that he does have skills. Despite what you may think of him personally, you know, of all the shit talking he does and all the antics and everything, especially with the last fight in which he dropped out because his uncle was sick, you know, Peter Fury. And this is a man who, because of his shit talking, basically you would never expect him to drop out of a fight during any circumstances. But for some reason, he felt that Dereck Chisora was sparring with Alexander Ustinov, who's a guy who fought Kubrat Pulev. And Ustinov is about 6'8", 260 pounds, and he's pretty good himself. And he's like 28-2 with like 21 knockouts. So in a way, Dereck Chisora got hurt with a hand injury. Alexander Ustinov, the sparring partner of Dereck Chisora, stepped in. It was all ready to go. They weighed in, and then all of a sudden the fight was gone. Because why? Because Peter Fury got sick, but also Tyson Fury did these interviews talking about how, you know, it was a setup to try to get him to fight Alexander Ustinov because the Klitschkos don't want to fight. He made up this whole big conspiracy, but no matter what, he's still my homie. So, you know, I got to ride with him. And I say this. When it comes to Dereck Chisora, I got him beating him again. He's the better boxer. Dereck Chisora, don't get me wrong. Big fights. Robert Helenius, Vitaly Klitschko, David Haye, who else? Malik Scott, and there's one more. But don't get me wrong, but his big fights, he has lost. You know, even in Tyson Fury, he has lost. And I see him losing on the cards again. Now, depending on if Tyson Fury shows up in shape, this is a very, very, very big card. One of the biggest cards I've seen Frank Warren put on in quite some time. And I'm just talking about to me. Remember, I'm an American. So I don't have access to Boxnation, and I wish they'd do something about it. That's why I keep mentioning it in every video. They need to broadcast those fights over here so the fighters can get more exposure than what I'm giving them, because a lot of people over here don't even cover those fights. You know, so what I'm saying, if I want to watch the Tyson Fury versus Dereck Chisora, it's going to come on at about 6 p.m. on a Saturday. You know, so a lot of people won't sacrifice their Saturdays to watch these fights. But what I'm saying is this: Tyson Fury, the winner of this, if I'm correct, is going to be the #1 contender for the WBO title that Wladimir Klitschko has. Now, let's talk about the heavyweight picture. You got Deontay Wilder and Bermane Stiverne, who's supposed to fight. You know, and that's mandatory. We're waiting for the purse bid for that. Then you got Brian Jennings, who's supposed to be the #1 contender right after that. Then you got the IBF, the IBO. We're not even counting the IBO. We got the IBF, the WBA Super World, the WBA World, and the WBO, which Wladimir Klitschko has. You got so many different fighters and contenders on the fringe. So what I'm talking about is the heavyweight division is actually picking up. You know, then when you got a good prospect coming in next year, like Anthony Joshua, and then you got David Price getting his career back, you know, on track. The heavyweight division is not bad. You know, and when you look at also, Wladimir Klitschko is going to be taking on Kubrat Pulev, a guy who can beat him. You know, things are shaping up to be exciting. But let me say this. Once again, if you don't know, I got Tyson Fury. I got Tyson Fury by decision. Depending on when Tyson Fury shows up, he may just school the shit out of Dereck Chisora. Because Tyson Fury has the tendency, he's only 26, to get mentally out of the game. He might not be in shape. But to be honest with you, he looked in the best shape of probably his career when he weighed in. I mean, when in the press conference for Dereck Chisora, the second fight. So, he's got some issues with the British boxing control board. I forgot what you call him, because of his mouth and everything like that. But I say, he's selling his fights. He's giving. I understand some of the stuff be on national television, but he's selling his fights like it's boxing. And he said it himself. It's like this is not a bitch's game. He didn't say that, but they getting all on him for cursing and using profanity. They like, we need that in boxing. Fighters like him need that. He would be, if he was American, he would be selling out arenas, talking that shit he's talking, because Americans like that. Or at least I do, and a lot of Americans I know do. Once again, I'm T Street Controversy. I will go further. My throat is killing me. T Street Controversy Live. Subscribe. I cover every single major fight live. Every single prediction I do means I'm going to be covering the fight. So that day, you got a lot of fights. But most notably, you got who's in that card? Oh, Chris Eubank Jr., Billy Joe Saunders, which is I'm very hyped and excited about. But once again, I'm T Street Controversy. Please subscribe, T Street Controversy Live.